Believe it or not, all of us have been impacted in our lives by a contraption invented by a man with no education beyond the third grade. Seriously. When you ask the question, are you smarter than a third grader? The answer to him would be no, unless, of course, your name is Percy Spencer. See, in the summer of 1945, Percy Spencer was conducting tests on a magnetron. That's the powerful tube at the heart of every radar set. And while he was conducting these tests, he had a snack with him, and when he reached into his pocket for the chocolate bar he had brought with him, he found instead a gooey mess. And he wondered, could it be that the magnetron that he was working with was responsible for it? See, Spencer was an engineering genius who had already helped win World War II by devising an improvised magnetron tube that was easy to mass produce, making it possible for tens of thousands of what we called radar sets. Now, he was getting ready to make a contribution to post-war America. Interestingly enough, he dropped out of school before he reached the third grade. And so everything that he learned after that, everything that he did was self-taught by experimentation. And as he began to make his contribution to post-war America, he put a bag of corn kernels in front of this thing called the magnetron. The end result? The first ever microwave popcorn. Spencer patented this new method of cooking. His employer, the Raytheon Company, transformed his discovery into what they called the radar range. The earliest model of this radar range machine, and I call it that simply because it weighed in at 750 pounds. It was huge. Not like your kitchen top microwave that you might be familiar with today. This 750-pound beast had a price tag of $3,000. This was the big daddy, if you will, of all microwaves. But it is what spawned a new generation of contraptions that grace kitchens today. And everywhere you go, you've met someone somewhere who's had a meal or something prepared or warmed or heated by the microwave process. Experts that saw his first invention in this area made this interesting and yet provocative claim. Oh, it's neat, but who's going to pay $500 for a hot dog warmer? Well, they were wrong. People not only paid $500 for a hot dog warmer, but they could not keep them on the shelves. And for a few years, if you were going to be one of the it crowd, you had to have some of these first produced microwaves that were now available for the home market. They were a lot lighter than 750 pounds. They didn't cost $3,000. But the end result was that it started a rage that continued and continued and continued. And just like every other thing that happens in the world of electronics, as time goes by, it gets cheaper. And this man, who did not have a third grade education, was brilliant enough to recognize that the gooey chocolate bar in his pocket might not just be because it just got too hot sitting there, but because it might have been cooked from the inside out. That's the contribution that Percy makes to us today. And that's the contribution that changed your life. Don't ever let anybody criticize or critique you by where you've gone to school or how much school you've had, the grades that you have or the grades that you didn't have, the educational background you got or where you've come from. Instead, let them judge you on the things that you have produced with your life. It may be tangible, it may be intangible, but make sure the things that you are producing are the things that you are equipped and gifted to produce. And then use those gifts in a way that are going to honor God. If you do, then the gifts that you have and the way that you use them will impact the world. I promise you that. I look forward to joining you in our next episode.